This episode will be dedicated to the recap of the LA debut show of NULL. And if you'd like to hear more, please stick around. This is All Gas, No Trash. My name's Adam, and welcome back to the program. Welcome to a brand new episode. I actually got back from that show not too long ago. They actually performed a little later than their scheduled time, probably like 9:30 or so. But they made the most of their time. I will save most of this conversation for later on in this episode, but I'm going to recap everything that happened. So let's go ahead and get to the next segment because there is quite a bit to talk about. So I think this is something that's worthy of having its own segment, but this is more or less the beginning of me going to the show. So, I drove out to Boyle Heights where this place was, and it turns out this place is the Above the Bridge music venue, which was not too much further away from where Makeout Music was. It's actually like 2 or 3 doors next door, which was funny because I was there not too long ago, and to find out that this place is directly adjacent was kind of funny. I'm like, man, I was here just no more than a couple months ago, so it's nice that I didn't have to travel that much further to go see this show. After hanging around a bit in my car, I decide to go to the gates probably 5 or so minutes before the doors open, and then I'm greeted by this very tall dude that he had a Oakland Athletics shirt, and it comes into play later for this specific person that I want to talk about in this segment. But yeah, so we were just kind of talking about Makeout Music because that particular venue was probably on the opposite end of the building, and it is kind of a deceptive structure itself because for the most part from the exterior it looks like kind of like a warehouse space or a storage space, but each person makes their own way of how to convert this into a music space. I mean, it like I said, it was kind of cool talking about that for a minute and finding out how pivotal Makeout Music was to helping with Above the Bridge, the venue itself. So then I linger around for a bit, and then I just kind of go inside, not knowing if we were allowed to go inside the space itself already. But I was greeted by yet another person, and this dude is wearing all fucking green, in addition to wearing an athletics hat. So I could only imagine this person was Dante Pellegrino, who is the person that runs Above the Bridge, the promotion, the podcast, the venue itself, the multi-hyphenate person behind Above the Bridge, which was cool. I mean, I had never met him before to that point. So, I kind of studied up on him as I only really became familiar with his promotion over the last 6 months because of other people that I follow, other bands that I follow. So we had a pretty lengthy conversation about, I guess, our own beginnings and why we got involved with music. And I mean, I didn't really talk so much. I wanted to hear more about him, and he kind of explained his whole situation. And it was really cool because I think we align a lot personally in being invested in music, especially at the how do I phrase this without sounding like offensive? It's because it's not really offensive, but I like music at the independent level, at the beginning stages, and I like this dude's passion. Hearing him describe why he got involved with music was, it's inspiring, and it also makes me sympathetic or in alignment with what he sees in music. And just hearing about his story of moving from the Bay Area down to Los Angeles was very cool. Coming from like a working class background to and that kind of ties into baseball with like the Oakland Athletics being a team that is run on fucking pennies and that they hardly spend any money on players and stuff. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that like that ethos of like working really hard It really shows within the promotion and Dante himself, and to see how much time he puts in between doing the podcast, running a venue, running the promotion, and all that stuff. I mean, for somebody that is so young, that has that type of ambition and drive to be involved with music, is really inspiring, and it's very cool to see. And on top of all the stuff that we talked about in music, we both have an affinity for baseball. So much so that I was telling him that if I hadn't been like a Dodgers fan, I probably would have been an Oakland Athletics fan. And he was telling me, he's like, yeah, it's funny, a lot of Dodgers fans say that. And I'm like, I'm trying to figure out why that is, and I'm thinking partially because of the San Francisco Giants. Like I couldn't bother to support that team, and nor could I support the Angels. Both disgusting franchises, and I like the Athletics far more than either team. But yeah. So then we kind of talked about Jeff Fisher and what a scumbag he is. But just overall a great first impression to meet somebody like that. Very. I hate to resort to Gen Z lingo, but there was definitely some good vibes that were had, and I got a lot of questions that were stewing on my brain. I had them answers, which was quite cool. But now we move on to the show itself, I guess. I kind of want to omit the other parts. I mean, there were other bands that performed, but I'll try to kind of keep it short and just kind of talk about the show itself. So I will quickly mention that I did have the opportunity to speak with Young Gatita before the set of NULL. And man, it was so fucking awkward. I went for this handshake or whatever the fuck it was, but I think part of the problem is I had earbuds in my ear, so I couldn't really make out what they were saying. So that was kind of an issue. So I just went for a handshake / fist bump and whatever. I think part of the problem was they were on the staircase of the second floor, and I was like, I don't know if I should go for a hug or whatever. Just, it would have been really awkward, but it ended up being awkward anyway. So I kind of wish that I just met them outside and just spoke to them like normal, and I didn't have my earbuds in. But whatever, fuck it, man. It was during one of the band's sets, so I couldn't really hear anyways. But I also spoke to David, the bass player of Young Gatita, and I was talking to him about a band that he was playing with called Los Hermanos Flores that released they released an EP of songs, and it's cumbia and also ska, which was really cool. And we were just talking about those two dudes, Esteban Flores and also Francisco Flores, who plays rhythm guitar for the Sinceres, but I think he plays in other bands too. And Esteban is in Mata Mosca with he plays in a bunch of bands. But yeah, so we were talking about that and how he played bass, and then we were also talking about his hot takes on music and shit from the Above the Bridge interview for Young Gatita, which was a lot of fun. And then at that point, I was just kind of lingering around for a hot minute, not really checking out any of the other bands. I was mainly just interested in seeing NULL. So then 9:30 rolls around. I go immediately to the front and just hang around at the stage because I figured, fuck it, man, I might as well just be at the front. I don't know how good the sound was going to be. And from what I can hear on the video that I captured, which I will be posting at some point, I'm not sure if it's going to be Monday or today. Fuck it, I don't know. Probably a safer bet to say Monday that I'll post the entire set if you want to check it out. I might actually debut it on Twitch. I'm not sure. But if I end up doing that, I might leave a link behind and I'll probably stream it at, 9 p.m. We'll see. We'll see if that materializes, if I actually end up doing it. If I don't, then I won't be including any of that info in the episode description. But yeah, so I'll probably more than likely have it on Monday for the YouTube channel, so you can check that out. But so then the set actually rolls around, and there's all these people that are gathering around, and I really wasn't sure what kind of crowd would turn out for this, because not to say that Instagram following is indicative of really anything, because the turnout looked like it was a sellout, to be quite frank. I was standing in the front, and I was, bumping elbows with people, and then at some point the show really just kind of turned on, and people were mosh pitting and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, it was. I'm glad I had earbuds on, because I probably would have had my shit destroyed, my ears destroyed by this music. But just compared to the other bands, and this is not really an insult, but when you see something that has a lot of potential, or is really stands out, you notice it right away. And just from the get-go of their set with Young Gatita like screaming into the mic, and just the energy that they bring, it's so like charismatic and captivating, that I think a lot of people were feeling like the animosity that Young Gatita was bringing to the table. But you could tell that these people enjoy each other's company, from Graham Steele and also Charlie Anastasis, who's I guess, probably the main anchor of NULL itself, the person behind a majority of the music, and of course Young Gatita writing like the lyrics, and Graham Steele also doing his part in the band. You could tell that respectively each of these three people enjoy each other's company, and it shows on stage. And I wasn't really sure what kind of how it was going to turn out, because even in the interview for Above the Bridge that NULL did, I mean, they didn't even exactly have everything solved about how they were going to do it live. I honestly was expecting them to do like a backing track on a drum machine or whatever, and that was going to be the extent of it. That they would just be on stage like yelling and shit, and that would be it. But in reality, I mean, it was more than that. It was Young Gatita with their stage presence. It was Charlie on bass. That man, this dude has quite a bit of hair, and it helps with the headbanging. And of course, there was Graham Steele, who was giving the backing vocals in addition to playing guitar. And they had a drummer, so it was more than what I was expecting, which was cool. I'm glad it actually worked out quite a bit. The only thing I would say is that I really didn't hear the backing track, which really wasn't an issue, because I was interested more in how they were going to adapt the sound of NULL into a live performance. And I think even if I hadn't heard the backing track for the music itself, like this was enough. Like, this was fantastic. This was fucking great. And what was really surprising is for not only the amount of people that showed up, but it was also the fact that people were singing along to the lyrics. And again, it's just like, it was such a surprise to see such quick adoption of this music, that people already memorized the lyrics, and they were so engaged. Like, it was like a palpable heat or vibration that people were tapping into. And it was a very cool fucking experience. And to wrap this, I don't know if this is going to be the end of this particular segment, but for somebody like Dante Pellegrino of Above the Bridge, who had already kind of built a relationship with Young Gatita through the band itself, Young Gatita, and also having done the NULL interview, this was the right person for the job to debut this band. I don't think it could have been anywhere else. Like, who else has been more invested in this band than somebody like Dante Pellegrino? So I'm glad it was him that was the person that ended up doing it. I don't know if there were other options on the table for NULL to debut, but yeah, just the overall experience of watching it was so much fun. And there was also a cameraman that was part of the Above the Bridge staff that was I don't actually know if he was recording or the camera was just simply used to project the band itself. So like the image of the band itself was being projected onto the other wall that was behind the band. So like you could see the band itself, and then on the opposite end of them was this wall that had a projection with them being digitized and all of these like special effects or things that were happening. So it's a very cool space. It's a very intimate spot. I don't know how many people actually could fit in it, but I'm guessing it's like, I think Dante said it's probably like 150 people or perhaps more. I'm not sure. But, from the looks of it, it looked like it was a sold out event. And as I was saying before, everybody in the band itself brought a lot of fucking energy, especially Charlie Anastasis of Lily, who's the main anchor of this project. I mean, he had this bass and he was just fucking like stomping his feet, fucking headbanging, and his fro was flowing all over the place. And one of the real treats of this particular performance also was seeing Young Gatita's boyfriend on the side of the stage fucking just going absolutely apeshit for Young Gatita. So, it's nice to see that even amongst musicians that they're quite supportive of their partners, and for this dude to be as enthusiastic about the music, I mean, it has to be fucking good, right? It's got to be something that people want to hear, and for him to like it, I mean, it probably speaks volumes. So overall, just a fantastic experience to not only go to the Above the Bridge music venue and finally experiencing it myself. Also, having talked to Dante Pellegrino, I think this dude is just on first impressions, man, just a fucking stand-up dude when it comes to music, and having a conversation with him, you could feel the urgency, the drive to do what he does, man. I mean, to run a promotion, a venue, a podcast, all three of those things. And, one of the things I was talking to him about is how there's this image on Above the Bridge's Instagram account, and it's a whiteboard with aspirations of Above the Bridge. And one of the arms or legs or things that branches out from Above the Bridge is like, I saw this thing said management. I'm like, oh shit, man, you're looking into doing management. He's like, yeah, dude, I want to kind of be in all facets of music, and I guess management is like one of the next things that he wants to be in on. And it's this guy has a whole fucking dream for the entire brand of Above the Bridge, not only to do the three things I already mentioned, but also extending into management is, it's quite admirable. And I don't mean that in any condescending way at all, but just merely to point out the fact that, really ambitious people don't stop at one thing. They want to kind of conquer the world. And this dude has, certainly has the drive to do so. But, I think this show was... Man, I was thinking about how, like, where do you put NULL in terms of like music scenes? Because I was watching this set and I don't exactly know what you pair this with. Because, man, there was times I felt as though this band could play with a band like Horror, HO9909, whatever creative way they spell their name. They play like electronic music, industrial with punk rock and all kinds of stuff. And in addition to rapping, I'm like, man, this would seem like something that could open for a band like Horror or I couldn't think of anything else. But nonetheless, like, just a very exciting sound to hear. I can't say that they created an entirely new genre. I don't know if that's the case, because there probably are things that exist or kind of comparable to it, but the way that they're going about it is probably far different than anybody else. And I'd be curious to find out down the road, like, what kind of bands they'll be paired with going forward. I mean, tonight was mostly like hardcore and metal, but I don't know if that's going to be the case going forward. But it did feel like something special happened here tonight, not only because of the people that were involved in putting the show together, but just the way that the crowd was reacting tonight with the same type of energy that Young Gatita was giving. Well, just the whole band, like from Charlie, Graham, and also Young Gatita, in addition to the drummer. It felt like people felt that this was something that was palpable. The way that they were reacting by mosh pitting and just, throwing their fists in the air, singing along with the words. And even the other bands were like, fuck, man, these guys just really have it, man. I was looking at some of the other members and they were just like, fuck, dude. They got upstage, but not really, because they were the fucking headliners. It was kind of expected, or you would hope that would be expected. But yeah. Well, anyways, I've been talking for way too long. I just wanted to record this episode before the thoughts become fleeting. If I were to record this Sunday night and I just completely forgot everything that happened in that night, but I think I more or less got everything down. I might make an addendum episode in case I forget anything, but I feel like I got most of the stuff that I think I covered mostly everything that was important. So anyways, we're going to end this episode here, and I believe we will be posting the set on Monday. I think we're going to post it on Monday, so be on the lookout for that. For those of you that listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all that stuff, I don't know if you've noticed, but you people that have been listening on everywhere but YouTube, you've been getting it first, and those that have been listening on YouTube will probably get it, 2 or 3 days later. This particular podcast episode and every podcast, that we've released. But, we appreciate the people that have been listening on YouTube, but fuck, man, I've been talking way too much. I got to get to bed and still I got to do push-ups and stuff because I've been doing push-ups for 90 days. But I've been talking way too much. Anyways, I'll be recording more episodes. There's definitely some stuff I want to cover in the next 2 days. There's an EP and maybe an album I'm going to cover. We'll see how it plays out. But this is going to be the end of the episode, and I'll catch y'all next time.